In this video, I'll show you how I make patchy grass bases. Hello everyone, and welcome to another brushstroke painting guide. This time we're going to be looking at doing a patchy grass base. So I've just got myself a basic MDF 40mm base and stuck it to a cork for ease of handling. So the first step is we're just going to add some texture to the base, and for that we're going to use some cheap wall filler or spackle, and we're just going to spread that out across the whole of the base. I prefer to work it from the middle and just smooth it out towards the edges. It doesn't need to be particularly neat, just some rough texture to add some interest to the base. While the filler's still wet, we're going to add some small rocks and stones to the base using some Javis desert mix. It's also a good opportunity to add any extra little details such as broken weapons and battlefield collateral. So in this case I'm just going to use a broken axe that I've found. Once dry, I primed the base with Vallejo surface primer in black and then did a zenithal of surface primer in grey just to pick out the details for the video. With the base primed, we're now going to base coat all of the ground details with RHINOX hide. Next we're going to do a light dry brush across all of the base with MOURNFANG brown. Next we're going to paint in all of the stone details with some DAWNSTONE. If you prefer not to paint each individual stone, you could always dry brush this step, but do be careful to tidy up any mistakes you make on the brown soil areas. Next, I base coated the axe head with some IRONBREAKER. And for the broken axe handle, I base coated it with some GORTHOR brown. Next, apply a wash of NULN oil across all of the rocks and the axe, taking care to avoid getting any on the soil areas of the base. Also ensure that you allow this wash to fully dry before moving on to the next stage, which is highlighting the rocks with a dry brush of ADMINISTRATUM grey. With the rocks highlighted, it's now time for the fun part, which is adding the grass. And for that I'm going to use a FLOCKBOX, which is a type of static grass applicator. Now, if you're not familiar with what a static grass applicator is, basically it's a small electrical device which generates an electrostatic charge which you can use to attract nylon fibers of static grass to your base. There are actually different types of static applicators, so I think what I'll do is I'll create a video just for those, because there's quite a few different things you can do with them and I think it warrants a video on its own. So for now we're just going to stick with this FLOCKBOX. To attach the static grass to the base, we're going to apply a small amount of PVA glue to the areas of the base we want to be grassed. A good trick here is to let the PVA glue start to set before moving to the next stage. This allows it to be really sticky and hold more of the grass fibers. Now add an amount of static grass to the top of the applicator. For this particular base I'm using a short 2mm static grass. Then it's just a case of turning on your applicator and passing your base across the top of the fibres. As the base passes through the static electric field, the nylon fibres of the static grass will then be attracted to the base, and because the glue is now nice and sticky, they'll be held in place. Keep passing the base back and forth, making sure that you get all of the glue covered with the fibres. And then, as if by magic, we now have a patchy grass base. So just put that to one side and let it fully dry before moving to the next stage. Now all that's left to do is paint in the rim of the base, for which I use some ABADDON black. And that's it, the base is done. I really hope you've enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you have, then please do drop a comment below. If you'd like to follow my work in progress pictures, you can find those on Instagram and Facebook. But in the meantime, like this video, subscribe to the channel, click the bell, and don't forget to share. Thank you.